Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, no doubt you've heard about CBD and how these products can help you feel better and just emotionally be better, physically be better. But I have questions for you. Are the products that you're thinking of, maybe you're researching right now, are they hydroponically grown? Are they family grown? Is it a family business where they take the passion behind it? Are they high quality products? Do you even know? Well, here's somebody here that can answer all of those questions because they are hydroponically grown. It's part of a family business, and it's high quality because he's so far behind it. He's an expert in a lot of CBD modalities as well. Jacob Jetski joins us. Is it Jenski? I always want to see Jetski. That's how I program my mind. Am I saying it right?
Jetski. It's not quite jet ski, but it's just as fun. I mean, honestly, you hang out with some of our family members and you have a real great time.
You know, I'll say Jetski, and I'll say it fast and it'll come out Jetski.
Just Jetski. I guess if you say Jess, like Jesse, like a short little, Jess, and then key is something you'd open a door with. So Jetski.
And do people call you Jake or Jacob?
Call me Jake.
Cool. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep. I was thinking of naming my son Jake, and then I had a friend who did. So I was like, I don't want to look like I'm copying my friend. So he wound up as Jason. So.
Oh, Jason. How old is Jason right now?
16.
So, oh, wow. So this was a long time ago.
Yeah. Not that long.
Yeah, we had our second son, Henry. We named him Henry Miles, actually, and he's 2 months old today. So
wow,
2-month birthday, little guy.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. And I let me ask you that. Now that we just said that, so your wife gave birth just a couple of months ago. Can you take CBD if you're pregnant? I always wondered about that.
There's studies being done with it. I know that they're literally looking in, so when babies are born, deformities and things like that. So bone deficiency, they're finding that CBD is really helping to produce a bone growth, healthy bone growth. She didn't take any she actually works with the VA. She runs 3 different medical clinics here in Wisconsin. So she actually doesn't take any of the CBD products. She gets the whole DOT testing done and everything. Gotcha. She uses the salve for her feet, but as far as the oils and capsules, she doesn't use those. But nope, we didn't do anything other than the salve or the lotion when she was pregnant. She found that the lotion really did help with the stretch marks and all that good stuff. It's a good, natural, good, healthy lotion.
How interesting, because I just talked to somebody, and it's funny you just said that, because I literally just got done talking to somebody who recently had surgery, and I'm wondering if the salve, I think you just said, or one of the lotions would help minimize scarring. If it will for stretch marks, potentially it would for scarring, I might think.
So my wife had to get the C-section, so I get to jump right into this. I'll let you know. I'll let you. She finds the salve is definitely helping with the scarring and all the tissue damages, but she definitely finds it to be helping it heal a lot quicker.
Wow.
I think she was on weight restrictions, but probably up to I think a month and a half, if not, probably about a month and a half. But she was definitely moving around within the first 3 weeks, probably more than I really want to, allow her to, but.
Right.
No, who's got no man I've ever met can stop a woman when they want to do something. So
yeah, absolutely. I always hear just before a woman gives birth, she goes into turbo mode. I'm gonna paint, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It's whoa, wait a minute, calm it down a second.
It's called nesting.
Yes,
it's a very true thing. Yes,
that's so funny. Yeah. While we're talking about that, I have a question I wanted to ask you, and we do have a question from a listener. But before I forget. Somebody told me that if you're going to use CBD for sleep to really make it effective, that you should take it on a regular basis, not every couple of days, because that's what I was doing. And I find it works sometimes, I wake up and maybe at 4 o'clock in the morning, and maybe, and it's gummies, by the way. Should you be taking it, for sleep on a regular basis, every night? Does it make a difference?
So it really does make a difference. You got to stay repetitive with it and take it every day, but you don't need to take it at night. So CBD doesn't cause you to be drowsy. So I guess there is a little bit of, you got to highlight on that, that it doesn't like make you like drowsy and like drag throughout the day. What it really does is just kind of calms you down, and in the whole mental game of it. And so that when you're ready to lay down, like you're ready to fall asleep, so you don't have like these jerky thoughts or sporadic thoughts that are keeping you up at nights. You don't really want to take it right before bed unless that's how your body is reacting with it. And you find that, hey, I go to bed at 10 p.m., so I take it at 8 p.m. If that's helping you, I guess you got to find that kind of perfect time. Some people do say, a couple hours before bed. I take it in the morning, and I take my pill in the morning. It doesn't make me drowsy throughout the day, but I just find that when I finally go to sleep at, my bedtime is 10 p.m., that's like the perfect time for me to take it. And like, I'm going to say probably 12 hours before I even go to sleep. That way
Wow.
it gives me time for my whole body to really dissolve it and digest it, so that it's at its full potential benefit when I really want it to be. And that's to get my sleep benefits from it. Um, so yeah.
I never thought of it in that regard, that if you're calm during the day, by the time you wind your day down, you're going to be relaxed and then easily fall into sleep and, eventually reset your circadian rhythm. Never even thought about that. All right. Yeah. I guess you got to find the sweet spot, but I would have never thought of what you just said could help you with sleep, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking. Any
Yeah.
other questions, you bring them my way.
Absolutely. So we got Bethany, who is in New Haven, Connecticut, and she's asking, what's the difference between CBN and CBG?
CBN, CBG, and CBD. So like those are like the three major compounds that they're finding in different plants. If you want a deeper detail of like how the apple concept works, check in our first episode. I kind of go into more detail, but I'm going to jump back into the little apple thing. So
Sure.
now you got pink apples, granny apples, red apples, purple apples. So all that CBN, CBG, it's just like the different apples of the apple tree. And they are finding that the CBN and CBG is having a better reaction to like how much your receptors can allow the CBD to absorb. It's like almost like an absorption rate, I guess. I still got to study a little bit more of it, but as far as CBD goes, all the benefits of CBN and CBG are within CBD. So that's why everybody's growing CBD. They're just kind of finding that, hey, now we can call a CBN or a CBG. We're finding that this different cannabinoid is kind of producing a little bit of a different effect. So it's just more scientists just doing more studies and breaking down the cannabinoids to even a further particle to see exactly which one affects the brain more efficiently.
Interesting. So if you want great benefits, stick with CBD and you'll be okay, is what you're saying.
It's so well rounded. I'm looking at CBG and CBN. I'm even going to do a cross blend. I'm going to pretty much cross train my CBG and CBD to almost produce the same one. That's actually going to be coming out next year. You just do that by like breeding the hybrid plants, which is going to be pretty interesting for us. It's actually a next step in our business.
Super cool. And that's, one thing we want to remind people, you can do that because you are a grower, as opposed to, other companies just setting up shop, going online and getting it from another supplier. This is, I guess, lack of a better description, it's homegrown. It's the real deal. It's, when people want something natural, organic, it's right there. You have it.
Right. As we were saying before, I mean, our products are just a result of being the great grower. I mean, we put all of our passion and everything into our plant, and that's what's going to get the most benefit out of it. It's when these people outsource it from, let's say, China or India, they're just taking the whole entire plant, grinding it up, extracting whatever they can from it, and putting it inside their products. We don't do any of the stems, no the seeds, and none of the leaves. We extract the pure resin right from the flower. I know we pulled it off the shelf our last episode, so take a look in our previous episode to get a better idea of it. But yes, all those questions that you asked at the beginning of this episode, you should say yes to all of those. And if you can't say yes to, is it hydroponically grown? Is it, sourced out to a home? Do I know the grower? You probably should be looking at a different CBD product. There's a lot of products out there. Ours has just time and time again, almost guaranteed to help people from psoriasis to anxiety, to sleep aids, to anxiety, all those great things. We're finding all the effects are coming right out of our products.
You know what I instantly think of, Jake, is when you speak about that. There used to be, and I forget what food product it was, but they always used to say, no byproducts, no fillers. And that kind of sounds like what you're selling, because when you talk about, those other companies, even overseas, that like they're just grinding everything together. Yeah, there's going to be some of the important resin in there, but a lot of other stuff that's not necessary, potentially thinning it out, so to speak, where it's not as potent, where yours is pure, potent, and what's going in it. That's the most important thing. You've put your reputation on it, your integrity in terms of what you're growing in it, and it really does start with the plant.
It really, really does. It really does. Steve, you couldn't say it better yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah. I wish I could tell you the product that they used to say. I think it was for hot dogs. Believe it or not, it was.
Oh, really? It's probably a good food product to be pushing out that they're fully, no filler.
No filler, no byproducts. And when you think of hot dogs, what could potentially be ground up in a hot dog? Yeah.
Well, that's not what's happening here. But,
exactly. And okay, so to that point, would you want to eat that hot dog or that product or not? And
right.
Would you want to be ingesting, everything from the plant, which you really don't need to? And again, not going to hurt you, but it's not going to help you and be as beneficial as it could or should be, than when you're dealing with a product that came from the Purple Nugget. By the way, the website, if you want to check out what we're talking about, is the pnug.com, short for the Purple Nugget. So the pnug.com. Pick a product there, Jake, on your shelf. And let's take a look at that. And let's learn a little bit more about, pick anything, maybe one that you're passionate about. I'm curious.
I'm going to start with the oil. Our oils have just, right off the bat, just been proven to not only taste pretty good, but be beneficial. With the oil, I'm going to pop this one out. And in fact, so I'll probably just keep this one for myself. But, actually, let's use this one. I don't know how big of a close-up you can really get, but what you're going to get is just a nice packaged sealed product. So this is all done right from here. And once you take this, you're going to have to obviously take off the seal wrap here. And what I'm going to get to, sorry for anticipation here, but I don't know if you can see how golden that is.
100%.
100%. That's what you want to look for. When you go and find other CBD products, when you open it up, if it doesn't have that light tint, just that golden standard, you're probably messing with something that doesn't have the quality that you're looking for. I've seen it white, I've seen it brown, I've seen it yellow, but it's not golden, it's yellow. You got to know, I guess, the color that you're looking for. And it's a nice thin golden color. That's what's really the CBD color that it just seems to give off of.
It's so funny you should say that, Jake, because I have a friend who takes drops, tincture, and it's not that color. And I know it for a fact because I just saw your eyes. Yeah. It's almost kind of clear with a little bit of hint of color. And, I'm trying to think it back to what she had said. I think she said it gave her a headache or she had some kind of, it'll come to me, but it didn't really do the job. It helped a little bit, but there was a side effect from it. I don't know why that would be. Maybe that was normal in, 2% of the cases or whatever, but it was definitely not that color.
Yep. Well, I've seen it, like I said, in a variety of colors. And, it kind of spools me because I pulled the same oils and the same producer off the shelf, open both of them, and they'll be a different color. So then I don't think the quality of the standards even kind of getting pushed across on some of these companies, but for ours, it's 100% what we say it is. And we put 100% passion in everything we do. And you're going to see the difference right away.
To your point, where's the consistency? So you have the same company, same product, open up two different, bottles of it, and it's completely different in terms of color. Where's the consistency?
Exactly.
Yeah. I hear that a lot with gummies. And we talked about that. You don't sell gummies because and you enlightened me to this, and it was kind of a mind blow that they're loaded with so much sugar. But I've also heard that the gummies, more times than not, they don't really control what the CBD dosage is within them. So you never know what you're getting.
Yep, that's everything you said is absolutely true. That's what we're finding on our end. The amount of CBD that you have to put into those to have it even be beneficial, just it doesn't even really like, I don't want to say mix well, blend well with all the sugar that you put into it, and with all that sugar, it's really just counterproductive. I mean,
Yeah.
it just really is. So we stay away from that. And I think I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure as long as people are buying the gummies, people are going to be making them. But
Mhm.
I got a feeling that some of the best companies are going to step back and look at, hey, we're here to help. We're not here just to really for the profit. At least I hope some companies are like that. And that's what kind of made us pull back off of the gummies, because I was just seeing it that I was probably hurting people more than it was helping. So,
Well, I don't want to go into it. You can go back to, I think it was the last podcast we did, but you did the research and the amount of sugar that you said had to go into it. And I would never think that. They're kind of sweet, all good, but to get to that, the amount is just, I wouldn't do another gummy. Honestly, I have before we met, I bought gummies and they're kind of effective. I think, is there better out there? I totally think so. I won't buy gummies ever again because of the amount of sugar. Like, who needs that? It's a lot, I guess, from what I
I
learned.
think a lot of the world is kind of waking up to the idea of how much, how bad sugar really is for them.
Yeah.
And, I
Yep.
think everybody's getting a little bit more enlightened and like how to take better care of themselves. I think we're just
Sure.
kind of moving in that direction in the world, which I think is a great thing.
100%. And then that's, probably one of the reasons why people do CBD, because they don't want to take medication. They don't want to pollute their bodies unless they need to. And CBD is natural when it's done right. I
Right.
want to go back. I don't rewind with the purple nugget. When you first started, did you start growing from seed or would you acquire plants to begin the whole process? I mean, I'm talking, from basically the beginning.
This goes back to 2017. That's a great question. Like I said, I've worked with since the hemp bill passed in 2017. I worked with two other farmers just to kind of help them get going. And it started with Cope Seeds out of Colorado. We bought seeds from them. We started growing their seeds. This turned into, we grew them so well that they got back to us like, hey, how are things going? How is it growing? I was giving them all the breakdowns because I was like the seed planter grower. So I was in good communications with them. I sent them all the pictures. We're doing it hydroponically. So I had 5 different rows of 5 different of their plants to show them, hey, you have this genetic of a borax growing. You got a cherry growing here. I started giving them the different details and helping them kind of dial in the percentage of what their feminized seeds were producing. And from that, I became a preferred grower under Cope Seed Farm. You can go to their website and you'll see my name under, hey, this is our preferred grower because he grows it so well. So
Interesting. Wow.
we've been communicating for about 3 years now. And Cope Seeds, I will say it again and again. They're the ones I trust. I mean, they've been doing it him and his father have been doing it for a very long time. And I think it's Sean, I believe, is his name. And they've been doing great. From there, once we got the seeds going, then I started taking clones. And then that's what I do now is I do it all from the clones from their seeds. And so, and what that means is once the cannabis plant is in the veg state, you can take a clipping from it and then just grow that clipping. And then that clipping will have all the same genetic that the mother plant had. So if it's like a female plant, and that's always what we're growing is female plants, no seeds, never. It's called a sensei type style growing where there's like no seeds in it. And that's what we grow. And we clone from that mother plant to ensure that all of our plants are just as strong.
You know what it reminds me of? You're a breeder.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I'm a little bit of everything over here. I gotta tell you, I
Yeah.
really am.
It's like you're a hemp breeder. That's what it sounds like. And how interesting when people breed dogs when they're doing it for the right reason. I just add to that that you are doing it because you have such a special dog. You would like another dog like that, and it's kind of the same. The properties are passed on when you clone them in that regard.
Yeah,
Fascinating. Huh.
exactly.
See,
Exactly.
this is why we talk about this, because in my mind, It starts from a seed. I would just think that, we're going to grow vegetables in the backyard. What are you
Yeah.
going to do? You're going to drop the seeds down. You're going to sow them, water them, maybe fertilize them organically, whatever it might be. Let's go to that point. Do you need to fertilize the plants?
So absolutely. The cannabis plant is a huge sponge when it comes to nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus.
Hmm.
And these three nutrients are like some of the three main nutrients across a lot of the other plants. Yes, they do absorb quite a bit of nutrients in it. But what's so great about this is that, like with our crop fields right now, there's actually a little bit of a soil crisis that we're living in. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but that we thought, I think like 75 years ago, we came up with like a more detailed idea how to do that crop rotation with our soils and like different plants, because we find like the lima bean puts nitrogen back in the soil, the corn takes it out. So we're trying to like make sure that the soil doesn't get so robbed of all the nutrients that there's nothing left of it. And what we're kind of finding is that it's not being tilled deep enough, and that there's a lot of metals getting left in the soil. And what people are doing, and what I hope Wisconsin kind of takes on, is that because the hemp plant is such a great absorber, what we could do is we could grow a bunch of hemp, and we could literally suck up all the bad nutrients, and like it could suck up all the metals, all the unwanted things that we don't want in our foods. Take all that hemp and just throw it away, or we could turn it into rope or fibers or anything. Do whatever you want with it. I wouldn't recommend digesting it just because you don't know all the unknowns to the roots. But what that would do is leave that soil just fresh and new. It would just pull out all the bad stuff out of the soil, and it would leave it ready for the next crop. And honestly, I think it'd be a great idea for people to look into that, because I think it could actually solve a lot of the soil problems around here.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
These are the things we don't think of, but then you don't worry about that because you hydroponically grow. And without getting into detail like we did last time, the plant is getting everything it needs.
Yes, it's just readily available nutrients at all the times. And like I just kind of said, it's a big sponge, and it's always constantly absorbing these nutrients. And by having these readily available nutrients, which all comes from 100% organic company, I mean, I just want you to know that this isn't, it's all great nutrients that we're putting into it. And
Yeah.
that's what you do. Yeah.
For anybody that's not up to speed on hydroponics, no dirt's involved. Am I right?
Nope. The dirt is just an extra medium, and what that really does is obviously it holds the water and holds the nutrients that the roots need. The roots will spend probably like 50% of like the energy of their life cycle just for roots growing deeper and deeper and deeper into the ground to try to find these nutrients that we're talking about. By having it in like a 10-gallon bucket with the water readily getting flown in and flowing out, it's just the roots don't have to spend all that energy wasting it trying to dig for it. So we find that the roots are probably, only like around this big, but it's all it needs to be for a plant that's taller than me, because it has all the nutrients that it needs for it.
Wow.
So we're just finding that that's how our resin gets caked so potency, because it's spending all that energy creating that resin instead of like wasting it on the root system.
So quick question. This is just for me. And then we have another question from somebody who's watching or
Perfect.
listening. When you provide the light, which is very important, is it a continuous light or is it timed? When you
It's a
put the light?
time schedule. So you got the veg stage and the flower stage. The veg stage is when you're just trying to grow the plants up. It's like, your fall and your summer. As we all know, there's more light hours during those seasons there are during the winter or the fall. I'm sorry, the spring and the summer, fall and the winter.
Right.
And so as the light schedule changes on a photoperiod type plants, that's when the proteins, sorry, that's when the proteins in the plant allow it to know, hey, it's getting to that time of the season. Let's try to work on our reproduction, because as a plant, I want to survive next year. So I either want to grow a seed, or I'm going to try to do whatever I can to reproduce and protect myself. What the cannabis plant does, and I might be trailing off here. You were just asking about a light schedule. It's 18-6 in the veg, 12-12 in the flower. But what I'm getting at is that the cannabis plant, the reason why it creates this resin is because it's trying to protect itself. It's like, all right, it's getting cold. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to create this resin around me. and it's going to protect me like a little cocoon. And then because winter happens, well, it can't survive. So that's why it dies off, because it's not a strong enough plant to like, survive throughout the winter. But that's what it's trying to do.
Can you tell Jake is passionate about what he does and he does it well? And the reason I ask that, we'll get to this question because I don't want to run out of time. We're close to it.
Yeah.
But my friend, one of my best friends, has since moved away. He is a geek, electronically engineer, and he built a timer for that purpose. And
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
At some point I'll tell you about it. I probably even send you one because he sends them to me and I use them, I use them to time my lights because I'm not growing anything, but he grew it for that purpose. And that's why I asked, because the light comes on, the light goes off. I was at another friend's house, mutual friend, and he was using that timer to turn his fan on in his living room.
Sure.
But it would be better served to use it for that purpose. All right, Janine, Miami, Florida. She says, and by the way, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com to reach us. She says, my arthritis is getting worse. I heard that CBD can help with it. What type would I use?
Time and time again, Marcel, I'll guarantee it. If this doesn't work, you can send it back to me. Just
Wow.
don't have like 75% of it gone and then say it's
Right.
not working. But if you buy this right now, if you don't find it's helping your arthritis, I will refund you totally. What else do I need to say? That's how much I believe in this. That's how much it's just worked time and time again. I play a lot of piano and guitar. My wrist, I think I even said it last time, it has a click in it, and I probably need to get it like looked at or something. I'm not sure, but I mean, I use myself for my wrist and my arthritis every week. I mean, just playing the piano, it always helps move the fingers the way it does, because you can imagine it, puts unnecessarily wear and tear on them too.
Yeah, you think about so many people who might be dealing with that because they're always typing on their keyboard. So,
same concept, yes.
Right, all day long. The purple nugget is where you're getting these products. And like we said before, hydroponically grown. They are grown with love from a family, and it's the real deal. So why would you want to go somewhere online? You don't have somebody to talk to. It's probably somebody just getting it from somebody else, wholesaling it, selling it. They probably don't even know what they're selling in terms of the potency and the product, but you're not going to find that with the purple nugget and Jake. Yeah. Go to the PNUG, as in purple nugget, letter P, NUG, thepnug.com. It's right there and back.
Wow.
I love the information, and it's just, I love talking. You know what this is like? This is like going to a farm stand, like on a Sunday morning where you see somebody that's growing vegetables and you're talking to the person and you're asking them, how are the apples today? How are the potatoes? How do you grow them? What do you do? Well, there you're getting it. And although those products, the produce is great for you, this is going to change your life, what we're talking about here.
Not only is it like that, Steve, it's exactly like that. So I do farmers markets. We will be at the Appleton Farmers Market downtown from June 3rd to October 4th. You're going to find me in my stand that I've been there for the past 2 years, right next to those perfect tomatoes, right next to the perfect vegetable stands that you were just talking about.
Yeah. And next to your colleague growers, even though they're growing something different. And I can almost guarantee they're not growing those apples hydroponically. So that's a little bit of a difference.
They have a lot more questions for me than I do for them. I'll tell you that.
I'll bet you. And that's what makes you unique. Jake, great talking with you. And we all appreciate the information on CBD.
Thank you, Steve, for having me. I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.